Been all week long following the destruction from the wildfires and also the recovery from the wildfires on the island of Maui this morning. CBS 13's Jordan Segundel is joining us from Maui with the latest on the situation there. Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning, John and Courtney. Happy Aloha Friday.
Hey, Jordan.
So we're out here. We're still here on Maui. You know, yesterday for the morning, we were photojournalist Brian and I. We were outside of the forensics Maui office out here. It was a pretty grim sight. We did see about 7 refrigerated shipping containers. We did see some of the officials kind of going back and forth, but that is where they're keeping what we know are the remains and the bodies of some of those victims. It was really hard to be in that spot and to kind of know what was going on beyond those walls there. But I said a prayer for the victims and the families because it's still going to take a very long time for them to identify some of these burn victims who perished in the fire. So they are encouraging not just Hawaii residents, but anyone who may have family members here on Maui, or if they're still missing, to go and take a DNA test to help some of the FBI agents really gather more information, because that's going to be the only way that they identify these victims. Now, we also spent time in the afternoon at a donation center. It was King's Cathedral Church. It's not hard to miss once you drive into and fly into Kahului and you're heading into Lahaina or even to Wailea. You pass by this big church on the corner with a big cross on the top. That church actually turned into a shelter the day of the fire. So they housed about 60 tourists who were dropped off at the airport, had no place to stay, so they took them in and really gave them everything that they needed to figure things out, to make plans there. They lost their church in Lahaina. They had people from their congregation who lost everything, but we saw them yesterday giving back, helping out, talking story, as they say here, with one another, really trying to uplift everyone's spirit. So that's what's happening here across the island. I know the other big news was that the Emergency Management Agency manager did resign yesterday, and big controversy on him not saying that he didn't regret not sounding the alarms, sounding the sirens the day of the fire. So a lot of still frustration, mixed emotions. Today at 10 o'clock Hawaii time, which would be 10, 11, 1 o'clock California time, they are holding a press conference to allow some of the fire victims, not just from Lahaina, but from upcountry Maui as well, to address officials and ask questions. So if you're out there in Sacramento and you want to watch it, they typically post it online, YouTube, they'll go live. So if you want to watch it yourself, I'd suggest just type up Maui Fire's press conference, 1 o'clock, and you'll be able to really see the emotion that some of these people and the frustration that they're still dealing with out here.
Jordan, you had mentioned the tourists that were staying in that church, but I'm curious, are you finding the people who live there who don't have a place, are they finding places to stay? Are there enough beds for them in shelters or hotels or families and things like that?
You know, we're definitely seeing people sort of transition out of the shelters into hotels. Now, I'm not sure how they're getting the help, because they have multiple organizations and shelters here. I know through the Red Cross as well, the biggest initiative is trying to get these families out of the shelters into hotels. I know in our building, I see, some of the local keikis, kids, children running around here. So at least we can see them trying to get away from having to sleep in a shelter with people that they don't know, just trying to keep them out here. But again, South Central or South Maui, Central Maui, Kihei, Wailea, there are rooms here. I know Airbnbs as well, but it's just trying to find, hopefully the financial support that they can to sustain not just 1, 2, 3 days, but a long period, because who knows how long it's going to take for them to finally start rebuilding. So much toxic fumes. They've only, searched less than 50% or 60% of the area, so a lot more has to be done before they can even get in there to clean. I know people were asking about the pets. The Hawaiian Humane Society is out here assisting a lot of the pets that were left homeless. But there's still a lot of pets out there. I had a Facebook message from someone saying, hey, there are cats and animals still walking around. They're trying to get into the burn area to save them, bring them out here. But a lot of red tape still on trying to get into Old Lahaina, where the worst damage is happening.
Jordan, also just curious about, because there's so many families who were, big families that live in one home or different locations. Is there anything that they're doing for the kids who are at this point displaced, but also school getting ready to start. Have they kind of figured out what they want to do for kids that have been affected?
You know, at this point, they're encouraging all of the parents to register their kids to the nearest school. They want the kids to go to school, to have some kind of normalcy.
Yeah.
They are offering counseling and services to the little ones, because when you hear the adults talk about what they saw, and adults can express their emotions, their feelings. These kids saw the exact same thing. So for the ones out there in Lahaina who may have evacuated into central Maui, a lot of them are going back to school. And what we're hearing from the locals, or even higher up, is just to talk to them. Let them express how they're feeling, because it's a tough situation, and some parents may not know how to address it with their young ones. And so they're hoping by them going to school that they can get the proper support and the mental care that they need, because the mental aspect of it is traumatizing. It is so traumatizing for them.
Jordan, from your time having grown up there in Hawaii, we always talk about here, we do tons of stories about wildfire preparedness. Wildfires are a top of mind threat here in California. Obviously there's, volcanoes in Hawaii, hurricanes are a threat. Was wildfire something that's near the top of the list? Do they talk about it there? Is there wildfire preparedness, or is this a new phenomenon?
Here in Hawaii, we have so many microclimates, and wildfires are something that we grew up in, especially if you're on the west side, the drier side of the island. I mean, like I mentioned in some of my reports, I was here on Maui covering the 2018 Hurricane Lane event. I flew out here. Blue skies, sunny that day, windy, and then a big fire in Lahaina happened, and so they closed off the roads. We were able to get in before they did that, but that fire went up the mountain and went up the hill, so it burned a few homes, but it wasn't as bad as what we saw with this last Lahaina fire pushing down. And even just the other day on the island of Oahu, they had a brush fire that was burning up near the area called Wahiawa, and people all around can see the flames. And knowing just what we had just here on Maui was sparking a lot of fear and frustration. But we do have wildfires here on the islands across Hawaii. We have a lot of natural disasters that we deal with. Myself personally, growing up, we hear the sirens that we're talking about go off every first of the month to test it. So we know, okay, but when we hear it, we're aware, okay, something's going on. Now, my time here living in the islands for 35 years, I've only heard it go off in an emergency when there was possibly a tsunami on the way, if there was a hurricane that was a threat, but I personally have never heard it go off for a fire. This situation, though, was a little different. I know they had the fire start in the morning, kind of said it was fully contained, and then it brushed up again. So for them, it could help people just be more aware that, hey, something is going on. Check your phone, step outside. Hey, something's up. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's tough.
Well, this feels like this is going to be, a moment in the timeline of Hawaii. It's a before and after. There will be new policies, new regulations after this. Jordan Sagano, thank you so much for giving us your
and John,
insight.
I do want to mention, a lot of people are trying to figure out ways to help. Today or yesterday I said, okay, what can I do? I forgot my Aloha shirt. So I looked online and I said, hey, what local Maui company can I support? So a lot of them are still running businesses online. So if you may not have a chance to maybe donate to an organization, look online. Maybe there's a company that you love. Something, made in Hawaii. There's a big Made in Hawaii festival happening this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Search them up. Maybe that might be something that you could be supporting, just like I'm supporting Pulelehua here out in Maui.
We'd love that. And other opportunities, we've got that phone number that's right there on your screen, bottom right there in the red. That's the phone number that you can use to donate to the Red Cross. Of course, CBS 13, Good Day Sacramento have all teamed up with the Red Cross to help these wildfire victims on Maui. So you can make your donations just by visiting the Red Cross page, scan the QR code, or you can go to cbs13.com, gooddaysacramento.com, click on the link that's at the top of the page. That will take you to a site where you can make those donations. And as we were talking about yesterday, this is like a direct way to help, because they know exactly where to send those funds to help the majority of the people the easiest way.
Yep. Thank you, Jordan. Best to you and your family and everybody there as well. Thanks, Jordan.